So we would start at about 11:30, do a show, do another one at 2:30, and so on. And at each show I was smashing a guitar.
Pete Townshend is an English guitarist, songwriter, singer, musician, keyboard player, author, composer, singer-songwriter, actor, and film producer, who's most famous as the principal songwriter and guitarist for a rock band called The Who. This successful group is considered to be one of the most influential and important rock bands in history. Pete is also the co-founder as well as the secondary lead guitarist of this band. The famous songwriter has written over 100 songs for 12 albums of The Who, as well as 100 songs for his solo albums, radio jingles, and TV theme songs. Pete won his Brit Award for Lifetime Achievement back in 1983. Pete also received Kennedy Center honors in 2008, and he won a Grammy Award as part of his band The Who back in 2001.
So I had to rebuild it in the gap, so I did a lot of gluing. I think we played Substitute, My Generation, and then My Generation I Smashed My Guitar.
If you enjoy these videos, please remember to hit the like button, as it does help us out a lot. And comment below who your favorite celebrity is that you'd love to see in an upcoming video. His full name is Peter Dennis Blandford Townshend. He's also known as Big Nose, Pete, Bijou Drains. He was born May 19, 1945 in Chiswick, Middlesex, England, making him 75 at the time of this production. He stands 1.829 meters or 6 feet tall. The talented musician has self-taught on guitar, banjo, accordion, synthesizer, violin, mandolin, ukulele, and harmonica. Moreover, Pete has also authored several magazines as well as newspaper articles, essays, scripts, and book reviews. In 2011, Gibson.com ranked this musician number 10 on its list of the top 50 guitarists. He loves to read novels, and Pete spent most of his boyhood reading adventure novels such as Treasure Island. Previously, Townshend wanted to become a journalist. However, in 1956, the musician repeatedly watched the film Rock Around the Clock and later went to see a concert where Bill Haley performed. That's when he became interested in music. In 1976, Pete's band The Who performed in London, and the concert was so loud it broke the Guinness World Record. Yes, you heard it right. However, the record was later beaten several times, eventually leading to Guinness World Records stop listing this record because the concerts were impacting the hearing of several people. At one time, Townshend was drunk and he was continually poking Roger Daltrey with his guitar. Eventually, Roger hit him with a guitar and Pete was hospitalized. When Townshend was being taken to the hospital, Daltrey was with him and he was apologizing. He met Karen Astley when he was attending art school. Karen's the daughter of famous film composer Edwin, and Pete married her on May 20th, 1968. The pair had 3 children, including Emma, who was born in 1969 and is a gardening columnist. Their second child, Aminta, was born in 1971, and their third child, Joseph, was born in 1989. Unfortunately, Pete and Karen separated in 1994, and the pair divorced in 2009. Later, Pete started dating musician Rachel Fuller, and the pair has been in a relationship for more than 20 years. In 2016, they married quietly.
One of the things about it was that once you'd bought a ticket, you could stay all day if you like. So we actually built up this whole hardcore of Who fans who are still with us today, who saw every show.
Born in Chiswick, London, this famous guitarist was born to a musical family. Pete's father, Cliff, was a professional saxophonist who played for the dance band called the Squadronaires. On the other hand, his mother, Betty, was a singer who performed with the Les Douglas Orchestra as well as the Sydney Torch. Townshend's parents drank heavily and had fiery tempers, hence their marriage was volatile. His father was often touring with his band and used to live away from his family. His mother carried on affairs with other men, and Pete's parents separated when he was a toddler. Then Pete was sent to live with Emma Dennis, his maternal grandmother. Pete describes Emma as clinically insane. Fortunately, his parents' separation ended after 2 years when they bought a home together on Wood Grange Avenue. Pete has said that he didn't have a lot of friends growing up. When Pete passed the 11+ exam, he was enrolled at Action County Grammar School, where the musician was often bullied due to his large nose. In 1956, he received his first guitar from his maternal grandmother as a Christmas gift. While at school, Pete became friends with John Entwistle. and they formed a group called the Confederates. They used to play gigs at the Congo Club. Later, Pete and John became influenced due to the increasing popularity of rock and roll. Later, Pete left the group because he had a fight with Chris Sherwin, who was the drummer of this group. In 1957, Pete's brother Paul was born. Then in 1960, his brother Simon was born. In 1961, Pete enrolled himself at Ealing Art College and studied alongside Ronnie Wood, the Rolling Stones guitarist. In 1964, Pete dropped out of college to pursue a full-time music career. Back in 1961, Pete joined the Detours as an additional guitarist, and later he became the sole guitarist of this group. In 1964, the group heard about another band with the same name, so they decided to change their name. Pete's roommate Richard Barnes suggested the name The Who. Roger Daltrey said that was the best choice. That year, Pete wrote some successful singles for the group, including Substitute, I Can't Explain, and Pictures of Lily. By the end of 1965, the band released their debut album called My Generation. Their second album, called A Quick One, was released in 1966, which was a huge success. Over the next years, the band released more than 11 albums and became one of the most popular and successful rock bands of the 20th century. During his musical career, Pete also collaborated with several other artists, including Ronnie Lane. In 1980, Townshend released his solo album called Empty Glass, which is considered as one of his most successful albums. In December 2019, The Who released the album called Who, which was their first album in 13 years.
Blazes, a nightclub in London. Yeah, he was pretty amazing. I think you had to have seen Jimi Hendrix to really understand what he was about.
The famous musician makes most of his income with his career as a songwriter, vocalist, author, and singer. His income increased in 1964 when he co-founded The Who. This year, People with Money magazine ranked Pete #1 on their list of the top 10 highest-paid guitarists. He made nearly $75 million in combined earnings between September 2019 and September 2020. He also earns through stock investments as well as substantial property holdings. Moreover, this musician adds extra cash to his account from his lucrative brand endorsements with CoverGirl Cosmetics. Pete has even launched his own brand of vodka and owns several restaurants as well as a football team called the London Angels. The total net worth of Pete Townshend is $150 million. Currently, the musician lives with his girlfriend Fuller at their house in the Wick, Richmond, England. This house was designed in 1775 by Robert Mine, and Pete purchased it in 1996 from Ronnie Wood. The beautiful house features oval dining and drawing rooms, a basement, three stories, and the porch is built with entablature. The Chapel House in Twickenham was also once owned by Pete, which was built around 1721. Pete owns the following cars: a 1966 Jaguar E-Type, a 1965 Volkswagen Transporter, a 1935 Packard Hearse, a 1965 Mercedes S600 Pullman, a 1972 Ferrari 365 Daytona Spider, a 2001 Ferrari 550 Barchetta, a 2016 Bentley Mulsanne Speed, a 1963 Lincoln Continental, a 1980 Ferrari 400i, a 1999 Ferrari 550 Maranello, a 2009 Vespa scooter.